Hey everybody, Dave Whitmarsh, another podcast here with Andy from FutureSolve. So thanks for coming on, Andy.
Thanks for having me, David.
All right. So in order to put some things in context here, why don't you tell us a little bit about FutureSolve and then and what you do, and that way, as we continue the conversation, people might be able to figure out what we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. We founded FutureSolve to really bring three value props for clients. One is advisory. So we have 35 growing and more CHRO advisors that we had to have held, CHRO positions at very large companies that are passionate about helping medium-sized businesses. We also have a lot of intellectual property on strategy of helping companies with their people strategy when it comes to scaling, retaining talent, hiring better, just everything that they need to do to get them to the next level. And then the third aspect is we bring together innovative HR technologies and infrastructure to help them scale and do it effectively. So we have sourced, over 50 partners that do great things in different areas that work well alongside of the strategies and the advisory we provide them to help them move that needle with technology.
So you could do this vendor neutral or using your decades, I'm going to assume, in the space that you can pull in vendors that you think could help them.
Yeah, we've worked with many companies that have actually worked with us on advisory of helping them just find a tech, whether it's a FutureSolve partner or not. And then we also have companies that have asked us, you've done the advisory, do you know something that already works with what you've done? And we have some options already that are in our wheelhouse that are partners of ours that we can also recommend. We are agnostic, so we don't push in a certain direction. We just give options that align with the strategies that were put in place, and the company can decide which one best fits. But we also give them the direction based on what aligns really well with their company size, pricing. So we do some of those initial analysis first for them.
Oh, very cool. And so I love the I'm not sure what you call it, the futures or the past CHROs being the advisors, because truthfully, both of us have been well, I'll speak for myself more than you. I don't know what your background is, and I'll get there, but I know who the players are, and I know who fits with who. But I don't know the ins and outs. Like I couldn't implement a payroll system, or I couldn't tell you what to look out for. So having real senior practitioners run you through not only the methodology of what to do, but then to run through the experiences that they've went through from their side, like that's really valuable. I could see that as being a real asset to companies, or even if you just need guidance, right? Just looking for
and actually in the industry, we've had these things separated, and actually they've been separate for a long time. And I think we've done a good job to finally bring them together. Is you can go and get a strategy on how to do things from large consulting companies and companies like Deloitte and McKinsey and all of that, to do just that. But then you have a huge task to take what they've created or helped you create and try to find a technology that will fit it. And then a lot of times you'll be disappointed, or you have to restructure it, and then you have to go back and do a lot of that work internally. On the other side, many companies go directly to the tech company and say, oh, you should help us. So they tell them, this is the technology you need, here's how you do it. But then it comes with no strategy behind it. So it also could fail or not bring the entire ROI. So what we do is we try to make sure that those are both handled and done together, which brings the full circle of value to the table.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. So, all right. So now we have some context. So let's figure out this. How did you find yourself in the human capital space?
That takes me back, but I was going into software at the time, and I was working at supporting school districts and school and educational systems on managing their people. And that's where I started. And at the time, I found a great opportunity with a company called HR Smart that was an exciting technology company that had started at the same time as SAP Success Factors, and it was growing. So I joined them as one of their first business development and salespeople. And we had great fun. One thing I noticed a lot about working at HR Smart is our buyers were truly genuine. HR people generally want to make a difference, and they want to make a difference for their people. And I loved working with that type of buyer versus ones that are just, really all about, price negotiation or so what we want to do is just bring value. So it aligned well with the type of person I am, is trying to bring value and make a difference. And since then, I've been in HR technology ever since. So I've been part of 4 companies and now FutureSolve, and been in this space for 15 years. And still, I love working with HR people because they are truly genuine and trying to make a difference. And if we can help them make a difference and make a bigger impact and a bigger splash, then not only did the business generate and the business benefits, but actually the people benefit as well. And that makes a ripple effect.
Well, that it's interesting that you started there, and so for people that aren't familiar with HR Smart, they were a little tricky company in the sense that they were the absolute best company to partner with. So if you were a performance management, so best of breed, somebody said to you, hey, we're looking for performance and comp, you could use HR Smart would actually run the comp for them in the background under their name, or it could be their learning or talent management or whatever. But they were really, really handy for a lot of companies to partner with, as well as obviously they got their direct customers. And so
Right.
that's and because they had the wide breadth of product, I guess that also was good for you because it didn't pigeonhole you into one specific area within the human capital space.
Correct. Yeah. We were able to touch everything from recruiting, the full employee's life cycle, until, training them, developing them, all the way up to, succession when they leave and put somebody else in place. So it touches the whole gamut, which gives me experience understanding the full employee life cycle. Once we understand the employee life cycle, then we can start making true impact, because sometimes it's from the start to the finish and making sure that entire employee life cycle is done correctly for you to have a robust, important working strategy, right? So it's good to know that, which HR Smart played a big role in doing that.
So really, like there's 2 parallels, right, that you have to run in, or from what I'm hearing is you have to run technology and strategy, right? Like the two have to run in conjunction with each other. If you want to, like a train track, if you want to get to the end of the end destination of success, whatever you determine that to be. So it's good that you have all those 50 plus partners, and then leveraging those CEOs or CHROs, and then having the core strategy and the experience with that really is a very, very beneficial option out there compared to the big consulting firms.
Yeah, and we formed FutureSolve to really target a market that honestly those companies can't really afford the big consulting firms. So we work with mid-cap companies, mid-sized, on the verge of growth, definitely want to unlock the next phase of their business. And that's when they need people strategies and people help. And a lot of times that infrastructure is weak because they're either owned by a private equity group or have gotten investment, and all the focus has been on revenue and financials and not on the people side, when really the people actually take those 2 aspects and unlock a whole new level. So we come in with that to help them. Our pricing is designed for that. Our technology partners are all designed for that. And we are tailored to helping that size of business. So a CHRO of a Macy's or Colgate or Coca-Cola can truly make an impact for them because they have had such a breadth of experience through the big business that they can help the mid-sized companies scale to that size and level and know what infrastructure is needed. So that's really what we focus on getting there.
And give you some insight onto what you need going forward.
Yeah, setting them up to success. And our main model,
which is often the catalyst that people forget.
Yeah, and
very cool.
We like to set them up for success where we set up all the infrastructure, get them ready and set, and then we don't want to handhold the client the whole way. We want them to be self-sustaining and sufficient. So we look at how do we prepare them for the future, and what are the things they need for the future, and make sure that those are all in place.
Oh, very good, very good. And so what do you, from dealing in enterprise customers in the past, and trying to be mindful of your time too, so being working with enterprise customers now into the mid cap, do you find that there's a little more agility and urgency to get some of these things done compared to Fortune 500 type of companies?
Yeah, so mid cap companies are really hungry for help. And a lot of times when we do work with them, they say, I didn't know who I go to. I'm usually asking my board or other CEOs to see if they know anybody. So we become an arm for reaching out whenever they need help and being a coach or mentor and advisor for them on those areas. And then they can pull the trigger and move quickly if we find value that could truly make it happen. Plus, they're pretty agile usually. They're trying to continue to stay agile to survive and grow and scale. And larger businesses tend to be slower in that area. But even with larger business, what we found is we can help them from a technology side. They probably have all the HR expertise and they have senior CHROs that have known the space for a while. But on the tech side, we have tech that could plug into major infrastructure that they have that could make very fast impact without a large change management implementation or restructuring of tech infrastructure at all, where it could just plug in to provide that extra piece that large companies that they may have, like Workday or Oracle, may not have, but add the value to it versus trying to replace it.
Very cool, very cool. And if you found this, there will be a link and ways to connect with Andy if you have any further questions. But where do you see the space going? And to wrap up, where do you see the space going? And I'm assuming with your flexibility in your model that you're ready for wherever it goes. Right?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of investment and changes and innovation happening in the HR space, specifically on how you use innovation and technology to move the needle, specifically after COVID. It's been a focus. And what we love here at FutureSolve is we're on the forefront of it. So instead of us working with just one innovation and just sticking with it, we continually see the new innovations that are coming together and providing forward-thinking strategies and partnerships in those areas. So, I've seen the two top ones now is artificial intelligence is now more than ever a very important aspect in using within HR. And there's really good use cases where it actually makes a difference. And then the other aspect is we're now seeing great new innovations in the metaverse and how the metaverse can onboard, train, create that experience for hybrid workforce. And I've seen some great companies and technologies in that space too that are really exciting. So slowly those technologies will be mainstream and then new innovations will come about. But because FutureSolve is on the forefront of it, we're always going to be ahead of the curve to understand what's happening and make sure that we educate clients about it.
Absolutely. Pretty exciting stuff. So anybody have any questions for Andy? You want to talk to him a bit about your strategy? If you happen to be a vendor and you think you have something that might fit for him, reach out. And of course, if you if you want access to a good CHRO, then Andy can do a little date matching with you and figure out which one would be best for you based off of industry size, experience, etc. So that's awesome. Appreciate
Yeah.
it, Andy.
Thank you, David. Yeah, we're excited. Just reach out. Happy to provide value when we can.
Awesome. Have a good day.
Thanks.